Major other techniques that you want to learn how to do in Premiere Pro is text. And text has a lot of kind of tricky. It's easy, but it can be tricky at the same time in Premiere. When you see title up above, you go to New Title. If you want rolling credits, you would select Roll. If you want crawling off the screen from the right or left, you hit Default Crawl. Or if you just want to still text, you just do Default Still. So for this tutorial, we'll just do Default Still because that's the most common. The width and the height, it's going to match the video settings pretty much that we have. So we got 1280 by 720 going right now at 23 frames per second. So we'll just leave that the same. If you need to make like 29 frames per second, for example, you can do it there, but we'll leave it at 23 frames. Square pixels, yeah, that's fine. All this depending on what you're doing. If you want to make sure it's at 1080, that's fine. I'm going to do the name of this is title. So we're going to hit OK, and there it is. And now we have a lot of options up on the screen here. First thing you want to do is I like to do is select my font style, which is down here on the bottom here, kind of the style I want my text to be in. So I'm just going to select just randomly one of the styles here, and T is selected up above, so I'm good. So I'm going to title this Parkour. And it's kind of small right now, so let me highlight this and go to the right here. And I'm going to look for where I can make the font size littler. It's at 35, so I'm going to make this a little bit larger. There we go. And now above my T, I have my rotation tool here, so I can turn this if I need here, so I'll kind of give it an angle. If I'm at the arrow, that's the select tool to the left, so I can bring this up to the center there. Pretty good. If I need to type again, I'd go back to T. This T going down is the vertical type rule, where your text would go down instead of across. And you also have paragraphs above behind them. And then you have paths, and you can do some keyframing with the text tool, with the pen tool too. You have some shapes here, so if I want to do a line underneath my text here, let me get back to text, and then hit the line. And there it is, parkour underneath, underline. There we go. So you got some tools underneath it. Notice above here, I have this show background video. If I turn that off with the eye and got the film strip, the video goes away. And say if I want to use my move tool, I'm going to move that, for example, back up, get that closer, turn my video back on, and it's going to look a little bit better, right? Right here you have the time code, so if I drag the time code to the right, you can actually see some of the video, what it would look like with that text. So that's actually a pretty helpful tool, actually, I feel. Here you have your roll crawl options above. That's important if you are doing a roll tool. You can change that. Right now it's at still, but if I need to do roll, I would do. So if I do roll, notice I think the important thing is that you make sure that you're starting off the screen, you're ending off the screen, or else it's going to end pretty abruptly. But we're going to go back to still and hit OK. So that's pretty much just some of your basic functions there. So let's go back to text here. Let me highlight my parkour footage. And you got some tools right here to the right that are pretty important, I think. You have your font size, which we already did. Our font style, we can do bold, italics, we'll make it bold. Your font family, you can do what we did below. We can make the change here too, so we'll do Arial Black, for example. Aspect, I'm going to drag to the right, that would stretch it out a little bit. We don't want to go too much. We can give it some leading here. And we can give it some kerning too to separate the letters if we wanted to. Give it some tracking to stretch it out as well. So there's some small, I can put it on a slant, just like with the rotation I did. Scroll down here. We do have the color. For example, we're just doing kind of a linear. You could do a solid color. We could do a 4 color gradient here, where we can make it 4 different colors, which is pretty funny, I think, to do. You could do 2 colors. Whatever you want to do. Make this red, orange, or you could do a solid color, and I just want to make it red. And we want to make it red. There it is. Or if we want to do linear gradient, and we select 2 colors, I do the other one blue, and then notice how the top is red, the bottom is blue. Or if I do white, let's get it back to white, and the bottom is blue. we'll do it that way. So there's several different ones you could do. You could do 4 colors, you could do a ghost, you could do a bevel, solid color. Just pick the type of color you want to do and select the colors. I think some important things that you have is the shadow is very important too here. If I take that off, it's going to get a little dimmer. So let me highlight this so we can kind of make the adjustments here. You have your, and especially for a drop shadow too, that's going to matter. The distance you want the shadow, notice the shadow is going underneath it. Now the shadow is going above, but see I can have the shadow of the text underneath. We'll do it like that a little bit. And then we can obviously work with the opacity of it. The distance, how far, the size of the shadow, that's really important. So I think turning on drop shadow is really important. Make sure text bolder. So let's uncheck that, and there it is. That's our text. And if we want to save this, the weird thing is to say is that we're just going to X this out, and notice that text was saved. Just got to find where it is. There it is. It's in my project now. And we just drag this where we want it to go. I'm going to put it on V2. And there it is, parkour. A quick little text there for my trailer. We're playing the audio, and we're seeing that parkour text above it. If you want to make it shorter, obviously I can trim it down just by dragging. Or if you want to make in and out points on the program, you can do that just as well. And that's how you do some simple text in Premiere Pro.